phpSyntaxTree is a simple, effective tool for producing syntax trees for syntax homework problems and papers. There's a bit of a learning curve at first, but once you get the hang of it, it can be faster than drawing the trees by hand. The reason for the learning curve is that phpSyntaxTree takes as its input syntactic structures in bracket notation, and those can be intimidating for new syntacticians. In this video, I'll cover the basics of phpSyntaxTree so that any student or learner of syntax can learn to use these valuable and free tool. Okay, let's build a sentence piece by piece to see how phrase structure rules can be converted to bracket notation. So we'll begin with our basic rule, S goes to NP VP. And then click Draw. This is our S goes to NPVP rule. Every syntactic category label on the tree gets its own pair of square brackets, a left bracket and a right bracket. The label of the node is written next to the left bracket, as we can see here for S. And importantly, the mother node, the one on top, S in this case, has everything else inside of its right bracket. So it's just like phrase structure rules. The category on the left side of the arrow is composed of the category or categories on the right side of the arrow, and for that reason, the stuff on the right side needs to be inside of the brackets associated with the stuff on the left side. So NPVP goes inside of the right bracket for S. Now, let's expand our VP rule so that it has a verb, ate, and an NP. So going inside of the square brackets, click Draw. And now we've added an expanded verb phrase with V, ate, and the NP. You notice I just put a space here in between the category label and the word that I wanted to put in that category. Now, let's fill in our NPs. Let's use a simple NP composed of a determiner followed by a noun. So again, inside the brackets associated with NP, we can add a determiner, let's say the, and a noun, let's say bunny, remembering to close each one with a pair of brackets. And then inside the second noun phrase's square brackets, we can put a determiner, let's say a, and a noun, carrot. You can check to make sure that all of your brackets are open and closed by counting the numbers down here. These should be equal. Of course, you won't know if you put a bracket in the wrong place until you click Draw. So let's click Draw. And now we've added an expanded noun phrase, the bunny, and another expanded noun phrase, a carrot, creating a sentence out of those three basic phrase structure rules. At this point, you can change some aesthetic things about the tree using the checkboxes up here. So unchecking this one removes the color from the tree, becomes just black and white. Unchecking smooth lines goes to, non-smooth lines. I always like to keep that checked. You might notice that the NP and DN over here have subscripts next to them, and so do these over here. It automatically puts those in. It makes it easier to reference various parts of the tree if there are subscripts. But if you don't like how that looks, you can uncheck auto subscript here. And finally, this last one, it's not going to do anything for the tree that we have here, but if your instructor has given you the permission to use triangles of laziness in your trees, then you can click triangles and it will put triangles in for you. You can also change font size. I prefer a sans serif font, but you can choose one that has serifs if you like the way that that looks instead. Those choices can all be made up here. When you're ready to use your picture, you just click and drag. You can drag it to your desktop and it saves it as an image file. So these are the basics. In addition to the code I've shown here, I've included some bits of code in the description of the video below so that you can mess around with phpSyntaxTree a bit more. That's really the best way to get comfortable with it, is to force yourself to use it. However, you might also be able to get by without actually writing any of the code yourself, just using the code that I put down on the bottom. Either way, this is going to allow you to make nice trees that you can insert in your homework problems and papers to give them that professional touch. So happy tree building. Thanks.